Monsterverse isn't stopping with Godzilla x Kong Supernova. This universe has become one of the most profitable and reliable franchises for Warner Brothers and Legendary, and it's still growing fast. The arcs of Godzilla, Kong, and the rest of the Titans are far from finished. In fact, the franchise is only now hitting its next big stride. Even though we've already seen not just movies but also TV shows, the Monsterverse is clearly moving into a whole new phase. There's no official Phase 2 label or anything like that, but Supernova marks a big shift, one that pushes this universe straight into space. The film will open the door to a much larger cosmic side of the Monsterverse, exploring new story arcs centered around interstellar titans and expanding the lore like never before. Up to now, most of the Monsterverse has revolved around a single core concept, the Hollow Earth, but this time the creators are ready to move beyond that, taking the story to a much bigger scale. If you've ever watched the classic Toho films or read the comics based on these monsters, you know how massive the cosmic mythology of Godzilla really is. Space isn't just a backdrop, it's where some of the franchise's most iconic and powerful creatures come from. There are dozens of legendary kaiju from Toho's history that feel tailor-made for the Monsterverse, especially the cosmic villains tied to Godzilla's side of the story. It's worth remembering that the producers originally planned the Godzilla-Kong crossover to be a trilogy. They said that long before the new Empire even came out. And now, with Supernova expected around 2027, it looks like that trilogy is set to wrap up, which means the next logical step is expansion. Once Supernova closes this arc, the Monsterverse will likely shift back to solo stories, and the most natural follow-up would be another Godzilla movie. A third chapter makes perfect sense, especially since all these cosmic threads connect directly to him. So don't be surprised if the next Godzilla ends up being a direct sequel to Supernova. And even with Monarch continuing over on Apple TV, there's still plenty left to explore. Unresolved storylines, open character arcs, and a massive universe that's just starting to reach for the stars. After the new Empire crushed it at the box office, one thing became clear: the Monsterverse isn't slowing down anytime soon. What started as a risky experiment has turned into a full-blown cinematic universe with a loyal fan base and serious box office muscle. The producers have said it themselves, this is only the beginning. One of the biggest voices pushing that vision is producer Mary Parent, who told The Hollywood Reporter the team's excited to keep expanding this world. She admitted these movies cost a fortune to make, but it's a simple equation. The bigger the movie, the bigger the audience. Another major clue pointing toward a future Godzilla sequel comes from King of the Monsters director Michael Dougherty. Ever since that film's release, Dougherty has repeatedly said he wants to return for a third Godzilla movie. According to him, there's even an early draft already written at the studio. That film, often referred to by fans as Godzilla Redemption, was meant to pick up after the events of King of the Monsters, showing Godzilla not just as a destructive force, but as a true hero, the ultimate protector of Earth. And that idea has slowly been unfolding across the Monsterverse. By the end of the new Empire, we finally see this transformation complete. Godzilla is firmly established as Earth's guardian, while Kong rules over the Hollow Earth with his army of giant apes. Their stories clearly aren't finished. Both end on open notes, hinting at much bigger things to come. Right now, the studio's main priority seems to be finishing the crossover trilogy, and only after that expanding into new chapters. Director Adam Wingard, who helmed the new Empire, has mentioned in several interviews that he'd like future films to focus more on Godzilla. The new Empire leaned heavily toward Kong's story, giving him a full emotional arc, more development, and even a successor figure in Zuko. So naturally, the next step would be for both monsters to get their own follow-ups. A second Kong sequel and a third solo Godzilla movie. All signs point to Supernova setting that up. It won't be the grand finale, more like another turning point that keeps the Monsterverse moving forward. Despite its space-oriented plot and the rumored alien invasion storyline, the filmmakers have reportedly grounded the tone a bit more this time. They've taken feedback from the new Empire to heart and plan to bring back some of the atmosphere from the earlier Monsterverse movies, where the Titans truly felt massive and awe-inspiring. That doesn't mean we'll get the dark, muted tone of Gareth Edwards' first Godzilla, but expect something with a bit more realism and balance. The studio wants Supernova to feel grand without losing its weight, especially with Space Godzilla rumored to be the main villain. Even with such an over-the-top concept, the invasion is being treated as a serious, believable global threat. And honestly, there's zero chance supernova bombs. The audience for Godzilla and Kong movies is still rock solid, and the franchise hasn't shown any signs of fatigue. It would take a truly terrible film for people to lose interest at this point. With even a modest box office of around 600 million, Supernova would easily count as a success for the Monsterverse. The movie hits theaters in March 2027, and after that, expect news to ramp up fast about Godzilla 3. The only somewhat official clue we've had so far came back in 2023 when Legendary quietly registered a new trademark: Destroy All Monsters. Longtime fans immediately took that as a hint toward the next Godzilla movie, and honestly, it fits perfectly with where the story's headed. If Legendary really ends up using the Destroy All Monsters title for Godzilla 3, it would be the perfect way to bring the classic 1968 story into the modern Monsterverse, but with a darker, more grounded twist. In Ishiro Honda's original film, humanity had finally managed to capture and contain all the kaiju on an island called Monsterland. Later, aliens known as the Kilaaks seized control of the monsters' minds, unleashing them across the world to attack major cities, until Godzilla and the others broke free and turned against the invaders. It was basically the first Avengers moment for kaiju cinema, a massive crossover that brought every major monster together in one insane finale. Now imagine that concept reimagined through the lens of the Monsterverse, following the events of Supernova. After the cosmic chaos of that movie, with Space Godzilla's arrival and a full-on extraterrestrial threat, Earth would likely be left in ruins. Major cities would be destroyed, and the world's governments, now terrified and desperate, would decide they can't coexist with the Titans anymore. The same Titans who once protected humanity have now become living reminders of apocalypse-level destruction. In this version of Destroy All Monsters, global powers, led by Monarch and possibly a newly formed United Earth Council, would attempt something drastic, launching a massive containment program to remove the Titans from Earth entirely. Using leftover alien technology from Space Godzilla's invasion, they might build orbital habitats or off-world prisons, sending the monsters to a massive lunar base. It's a desperate clean slate plan for humanity, but it doesn't go as planned. Somewhere in deep space, a new intelligence, maybe remnants of the same force that created Space Godzilla, begins to manipulate the captured Titans. Those mind control signals that once came from the Kilaaks could now be reinterpreted as a result of alien interference or cosmic corruption. Slowly, one by one, the monsters begin to rebel, their instincts hijacked again, this time by a much more advanced alien species preparing to claim Earth for themselves. Godzilla, still recovering from the events of Supernova, becomes the key once again. If Supernova was his redemption arc, Destroy All Monsters would be his reckoning. Humanity realizes that they need him, the very creature they exiled, to save them from a threat they unleashed themselves. Godzilla, Kong, Mothra, and other surviving Titans would have to join forces one last time, not just to defend Earth, but to reclaim their place as its rightful guardians. Thematically, it would bring everything full circle. Supernova pushes the Monsterverse into space, but Destroy All Monsters could make that the ultimate battleground, the war for Earth's survival fought between the stars. Visually, it could blend the cosmic spectacle of Supernova with the grounded, heavy tone of the earlier parts, like King of the Monsters. Supernova is locked for release in March 2027, and it's currently the only Monsterverse project set for that year. But the move into space feels bigger than just raising the stakes. It fits perfectly with where the universe is heading. Godzilla's faced cosmic-level threats before, and Toho's lineup is filled with extraterrestrial kaiju still waiting for their live-action debut. If the rumors are true, this next phase could finally put Godzilla back at the center of it all, while paving the way for some of his most legendary foes to return. Looking at the bigger picture, the Monsterverse roadmap is starting to take shape. First up is Monarch Season 2, which has already wrapped filming and is rumored to tease new Titans, deeper Hollow Earth secrets, and maybe even alternate dimensions. Then comes Supernova, a massive cosmic showdown packed with crystals, space-borne threats, and possibly a cataclysm that blows the story wide open. After that, all signs point to Godzilla 3, potentially carrying the legendary Destroy All Monsters title. That could finally give us the true solo Godzilla movie fans have been waiting for. One that dives straight into his own mythology.